Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this late edition of the Whitfield Report on Saturday evening, almost technically Sunday. And I know it's a late show for those of you watching live, but we're here and happy to be here. I guess Apex fell asleep earlier in the evening, so he didn't think he was going to make it, but nevertheless, I'm here and he will be here, soon enough. I did send him the invite link, so he should be jumping in here in just a bit. Anyway, though, glad to be back for another show. And ladies and gentlemen, right off the bat, I have to address something. And I don't want to go off on a rant here per se, but it seems to me that a portion of the audience misunderstood what I was saying on last week's show. So for those of you who tuned in last week, you probably know that I had Black Pill Phil on to discuss the Russian Ukraine situation. And last week, I said very clearly that I believe that the United States at this point should remain neutral in the conflict, and that I don't think it's a good idea to necessarily stand with Ukraine, quote unquote, in that whole social media hashtag. Now, I want to be perfectly clear here on something, ladies and gentlemen. I don't stand with Ukraine as a government per se, I still feel awful for the Ukrainian people. And by the same token, I feel bad for the Russian people, the innocents who have been affected by this conflict. I want to make that clear from the outset. The reason why I bring all this up is because the boomer conservative contingent out there, the neocons, in other words, the neoconservatives, right? Just because I don't stand with Ukraine doesn't mean I want, Vladimir Putin to take over. But that is pretty much what the neocons think that I am, basically saying. They think that I'm okay with Putin just taking over Ukraine, and I mean, hell, some boomer from a conservative Facebook group I'm in, if you're watching this, Val, I love you, but you're wrong. on this one. I basically, the long and short of it, ladies and gentlemen, is I had a baby boomer conservative basically accuse me of being a communist sympathizer. Why? Because I want the United States to stay neutral in this conflict, and I don't think that we should be, supporting Ukraine militarily in this conflict. At least not at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. And for some reason, this makes me a communist, even though I have never said anything uh, ever that would validate that theory. So then when I asked her to, give evidence that I support communism, she's like, well, you might not support it directly, but you're okay with the spread of communism because you don't want to do anything to fight it. And listen, I'm all for fighting communism, but there are more ways than one to fight communism, and it's an ideological war. It's not always one that needs to be fought with guns on the battlefield. And my co-host Mr. Gamma is here, so let's bring him on because I'm sure that these neoconservative boomers want to accuse him of being a communist sympathizer as well. Good evening,
What's
Mr.
up?
Gamma. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm sleepy. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm kind of sleepy too, to be honest. Honestly, it's a weird week, man. Just to kind of fill you in, I was basically, I guess we upset a few boomers last week, and
Hmm. I was expecting to do so.
because I don't want to go into because I don't want to start World War III with Russia, and because I don't think that we should automatically ally ourselves with Zelensky because I think he's fishy too. Apparently that
Clearly,
makes me a communist sympathizer because Putin's a communist according to these boomers, and we need to stop the spread of communism, even though it's in our
yeah.
universities already, and AOC, and but we can't let the Russians spread communism here. God forbid.
Well, the truth of the matter is, these fucking idiots that are mad, uh, they just do what they're told, and the fact that you can upset them or we can upset them is a good thing. Like if you're not pissing people off, you're not doing something right. Because
Oh,
you can't make everybody happy. That's just a fact of life, right? So if you're not if you're doing something like this and people aren't mad, not everybody obviously, but if there aren't people that listen and are upset or don't agree with you, then you're not doing it right.
oh
So
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you completely, and it's not. Listen, I mean, I like to rile people up as much as anyone, but at the same time, I'm not going to let people just accuse me of being a communist and let it go unaddressed because that's basically what they're accusing me and by extension you of. And
well, you can tell them that they are white supremacist Nazi sympathizers because
yeah,
that's a fact. That part is true.
I
If they support the Ukrainian army as fervently as so many people appear to be doing right now, then they're supporting an army with an actual fucking with a whole battalion of neo-Nazi types.
it's a very narrow-minded it's a very narrow-minded and simplistic worldview that a lot of these people have. And specifically in relation to the boomers, the other excuse is, well, you weren't around during the Cold War. You don't understand how bad the I get that a lot too from these boomers, and it's like,
Right.
just because I wasn't around, or just because my co-host was super fucking young, too,
Mhm.
and probably doesn't remember the Cold War at all. I'm assuming you don't.
No, that's
Um,
well before my time.
That just because we weren't around for shit doesn't mean we don't understand it. Like, obviously we weren't around for slavery. A lot of us weren't, but we all know that
Is
is
bad.
bad.
Right.
So
Well, you know what we were around for was Crimea, the
yeah,
annexation of Crimea back in when was that? 2014 or 2016? Shit, I can't remember. But every year since like 2011 or 2012, there's been mainstream media pieces on the Nazis uh, in the fucking Ukrainian army.
yeah,
And I seem to recall it being part of the reason why we didn't care. The general public here in America didn't care when Putin was like, "I'll take here Crimea over here." I mean, he just took it. You know, the Cold War, literally nothing happened and everyone panicked. Yeah, yeah. You
yes.
fucking boomers really showed us what's what. Fucking assholes. Oh man, I don't know. I'm assuming that I'm the only one on the live.
Oh shit.
Oh damn it!
Okay,
What'd you
we're
do?
back.
All right. Yeah, no,
Um,
that's a funny. It's true though. Literally nothing happened, and boomers want to be like, you have no idea. We had to do nuclear war drills every day at school. We had to crawl under our desk. It was so oppressive. We were so scared for our lives. Fuck you.
I mean, granted, the Cold War is pretty complex, and shit could have popped off. I'm not
It
denying that,
it
but
could have, but it didn't.
it didn't. And the other thing too is, when people say that Vladimir Putin is a communist, I'm not. He's never given me communist vibes. Like, I don't want to say I'm an expert, but unlike a lot of these boomers, I actually have read some on Russia, and he's more of like an oligarch, more than anything.
Well, Go ahead.
He's more of like a Russian mobster more than anything, which
Hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily say is the same thing as like a communist.
Well, the two aren't mutually exclusive. He could harbor communist ideations. He does. He did get his start in like the KGB, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So he certainly has that in him. That those roots go somewhere. But yeah, I agree. He strikes me more of like an old school authoritarian, just
yeah,
just like a dictator type. You know,
yeah.
and yeah, gangsters a good way to put it too. Mobster type.
I mean, the point being is, I think it's just really stupid how either you're fully in support of Ukraine, and they're the good guys, or you're not in support, and you're in support of Russia, and therefore that makes you bad, because not and obviously that's like the general narrative, neither of which is true. I just think, like everything, warfare is complex, and there are shades of gray to this shit, and people don't seem to understand that much.
Well,
Uh,
I don't think it's about understanding. I think it's about picking sides. Just like everything else. If wrong think, wrong speak. You know, go against the
yeah,
go against the flow, and what are you doing? How could you? How dare you? Like our opinions make a fucking shit.
I will say though, I do stand with the Iranians though. Um,
What do you mean?
well, I don't know if so I didn't watch the State of the Union, but apparently Biden
Oh, yeah, yeah.
called the Ukrainians the the Iranians. So
Mhm.
and from what I'm told, he forgot like where it was at in his speech like three different times. So
I saw a little clip of Kamala too. She was like explaining Ukraine like she was explaining it to a 6-year-old. Well, Ukraine is a country, and it borders on Russia, and Russia is bigger than Ukraine, and so therefore it's bad. Tupac.
that's the other thing. It's like if we're going to go to war, do do you really want these people leading us into war? I mean, granted that Trump was a bit nuts. You know, he was a bit weird in his own way, but at least Trump was like, listen, we're gonna go in, we're gonna bomb him. It's gonna be tremendous.
It's gonna be fantastic.
It's gonna be fantastic. Like at least there was something there, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Trump was right again. You know.
Yeah. Um.
Hey, I got a funny little palate cleanser, or I don't know what you've gone on so far, but I doubt you've heard of this. I'd be surprised if you had, but it's going to be big news going into the future as far as the internet is concerned. You've listened to enough Joe Rogan to know who Brendan Schaub is, right?
Oh yeah. I definitely know who Brandon Schaub is. I've also watched the Porcelain documentary on
Yeah,
him.
yes. Now, Brendan Schaub is suing a very small YouTuber by the name of Unique or Sayin Z, I think. I can't remember. Maybe the same person, but like
Oh yeah.
Yewneek, and the quartering actually
Yeah.
is like helping fund his legal defense and shit. But yeah, he's Brendan Schaub is suing a YouTuber for making fun of him. Like that's incredible. It's kind of a big deal. And the kids' YouTube channels have been removed. Total fair use shit. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting going forward.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out because Brandon Schaub doesn't necessarily strike me as the the sharpest tool in the shed. Um,
No, definitely not. He's retarded. He's literally retarded.
yeah, I mean yeah he literally is retarded, and also uh I can't remember he's not the one who because I know that he was on that podcast the fight and the kid. He's not the one who was accused of like molesting a kid,
No,
right? That was the other guy.
yeah,
Uh,
Callan, I think. Brian
yeah.
Callan.
Um, but yeah, I mean, shit. If if Brennan Schaub is suing people who make who make fun of him, well then it's gonna be a long fucking list because I've basically everyone I know and everyone I know tangentially has pretty much made fun of
Well, I
that
just
retard.
just think about it. We come from the Teddy Spaghetti, the Owen, the Mersh world where we mock these people, and you could argue that it affects them negatively if enough people see their shit talking about them. But
Yeah.
as many channels as have been struck and stuff, there's never been Teddy has talked about legal action, but he's never actually done it that I know of, or has he?
I mean, like I've heard he
Other than
has
obviously the Patreon bullshit, but that's not what I'm talking.
yeah,
I'm talking about like individuals.
he says that he's done it, but there's nothing that like has actually been able to be verified.
Yeah,
I
like he said,
guess.
he called the cops. He swatted that crippled troll or whatever, and he was very proud of it.
Which it, which real quick, I have to say it's pretty funny because some people who are new to this whole thing, they think that's me. And I at first I'll kind of play along and I'll be like, and then I'll be like, nah, that was that was before I came into the picture. But
yeah, yeah, and it was somewhere in far away from you.
but yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
no,
that's why the reason I bring it up is it's if Brandon doesn't drop it and it like continues forward, it's gonna be like a lot of people are gonna be talking about it. Already people, enough people are talking about it on this little corner of the internet, but
yeah.
it's gonna make it onto all the YouTube channels.
Well, and then I mean I don't know if it will like directly affect Rogan, but clearly it's it's going to get back to Rogan at some point if it hasn't
Yeah.
already because Shab's like affiliated with Rogan and kind of that whole I guess podcast Ville crew or whatever they're
Yeah.
calling themselves.
And I mean, to be fair, Rogan probably never will never address it because Rogan and his company, what is it, Bent Pixels or Bent Pixel or something like that, his media company, they absolutely trash, like they thrash people on YouTube too. You know what I mean?
Oh
Copyright
yeah.
strikes and shit. So, but
So um which is kind of weird, but uh, that's just what he does, I guess.
he's protecting
Um,
his company. I mean, whatever.
yeah. Speaking of weirdness on the internet, though, and this will kind of, I guess, segue into a little announcement that we have. Um, but apparently, uh, Ethan Ralph the Gunt is continually losing his shit over based dad man, as I like to call him, aka Vicious Vickers. Um, because apparently Ralph thinks that uh, Vicious is paying people to troll him.
Now, see, you actually got for the first time ever got kind of a jump on this on me because I was wondering what you were about to say, and I literally just read 2 minutes before we got on a screenshot of um, Ralph saying that and putting pieces together from other tweets that I've seen. I was not aware that that's what was happening recently, and it's not just Ralph. There's a bunch of Ralph stands that think that Vickers is paying PPP and everybody off to talk shit about Ralph, and he may be, but I don't think it's a coordinated thing.
the the way Vickers explained it is he is paying people, but well, what he's doing is he's super chatting the streamers who make fun of Ralph whenever they make Vickers laugh. I mean, it's basically all Vickers is doing is the same thing that like the
Anybody,
rest of us do.
literally everybody else does exactly. Like he super chats when he finds the content entertaining or funny, or he thinks just the streamer deserves support. That's literally what everybody else does.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's picking on Ralph or people are picking on Ralph is probably pretty funny to Mr. Vickers. So yeah, but
Well,
that's what I was gonna say. It didn't seem like a calculated transaction, like behind the scenes, like, hey, you guys start a show and I'll super chat you $500 every fucking show you make fun of Ralph.
yeah,
You know,
but it's it I mean that's exactly that's exactly what Ralph thinks. I mean, it's the same thing with with Mersh, where Mersh thinks that r/Mersh, the subreddit, is like some super like calculated like, oh, we're gonna take Mersh down, and all it is for the most part, um, from what I've seen, are people just taking clips of Nightwave and just
Shitting on
clipping
him.
them and being like, look at this fucking retard do this. So,
Look at this
so,
fucking gelatinous mess of a retard.
so,
Oh
um,
man. Hey, say whatever you're about to say. I will be back in 30 seconds.
so I do want to acknowledge the chat real quick here because for a light stream we actually have a number of people here. So I do want to acknowledge Sawson for popping in, then Mr. Steely, who I hope Mr. Steely sticks around because we have an announcement that might actually make Mr. Steely smile for once. I know Mr. Steely doesn't like to smile, but this one might actually, make him smile. And then we also have Larry Rapshot in the chat. Um,
What's up, everybody?
so,
How do I sound, by the
um,
way? Do I sound all right?
yeah, you sound great.
Cool.
No, but yeah, no, I'm glad Mr. Steele is here, and to that effect, the announcement that we have to make. I told Apex this yesterday, but I reached out to Mr. Vickers and basically invited him on the show because he's going to be launching a YouTube channel of his own, and I don't really know what the content is going to be on there yet, and I think he's still trying to plan it out. But he and I got to talking in DMs, and basically, he's going to come on the Whitfield Report on the 19th. So mark your calendars. Vicious Vicker, Vicious Vickers meets Savage Sammy.
Well,
So,
you just entered yourself in the war against the gun, and he's coming for you, buddy.
well, I mean, I'm surprised that the gun hasn't already come after me because I made fun of the gun's new boyfriend. So,
Which boyfriend
um,
is that?
Mooch,
Oh, yeah, Mercia.
Gu- Guns Junior, as I call him,
Yeah.
as I call him. So, but
Mersh was right about you. I don't know if you saw that DM that Ralph sent Porcelain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Wee.
supposedly I guess they're meeting up in like a
Uh-huh.
week at like a bowling alley,
Uh-huh.
and it's
And
going to be like some.
Ralph is intending to marry his horse at the same time. That human being
Oh,
is horrifying. I'm sorry, but Pantsu is so ugly. Like, does not even look like a woman ugly. And now pictures can be incredibly unflattering to certain people. Maybe that's it, but I don't think so. She is awful. She looks like Razor Fist.
oh, jeez, yeah. That's an insult to Razor Fist, even I would say.
Who is also a faggot.
And who blocked me for
For a joke.
for a joke. Um, you know who else I think is ugly is Belle Delphine. I don't know why people follow her, but
Who's that?
Belle Delphine is like a Twitch streamer. She was like one of the
Oh,
first
yeah, yeah.
Twitch dots out there. And she did like a did a podcast with the Paul brothers the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And which I don't even know how they're really a thing, other than I know the one brother is like a boxer, but
Well, dude, it's just
yeah,
content.
she's
They're huge content creators, so it's natural that they're like, well, let's just bring our fans together and make a shitload of money.
that's
Yeah, and Belle was that stupid tongue out, eyes crossed bitch. She got popular just literally making faces, and then
yeah,
eventually made the OnlyFans,
yeah.
which according to Steely is garbage, and I believe him.
I yeah, I definitely believe that. So most OnlyFans accounts are though.
Yeah,
But,
maybe. I wouldn't know because I've never even been to the URL. I can only assume.
well, you've been to onlygammas.com though.
I own that
So
shit.
so yeah, still it goes gamer girl bathwater. Yeah, that's that's basically all we need to know. All we need to know about that. But anywho, what else is going on in the world of? I mean, the internet's actually been pretty quiet this week. It's been weird.
Well, there's always something afoot if you know where to look. That's why I've got my fingers in so many sectors of the internet. I don't really have anything in particular. I actually did, and I, as usual, didn't make any notes of any kind. But yeah, Saturday, I don't know. I work these Saturday mornings, and I get up at like fucking 6 o'clock, and then I work until 4 o'clock, and then I come home, and I'm like, all right, just stay busy for like 6 hours, and then do the podcast. And then at like 7 o'clock, I'm like, I'll just, you know what? It was today. It was like 6:30. I was like, I'll just take like a 2 hour nap. Just lay down, set a bunch of alarms. And my old ass fell asleep, and then I wake up in a haze, like, oh shit, I missed the show. Then you start the
I've
show.
get,
Anyway, go ahead.
guess what? I may or may not have done that myself.
Nice.
The So the other thing is I guess now that World War III might be looming, I guess apparently we beat COVID
Yeah.
now according to our overlords, which it's like we didn't beat it. It was never a huge problem to begin with.
Oh no,
Um,
and if you, I can't remember the source, but I can guarantee you can find dozens, if not hundreds of people. Surely a source, one person, but anyway, you can find lots of people over from the start of COVID saying that this shit won't be over until there's a war. They'll use a war to distract us from the COVID shit, and it seems pretty clear to me.
yeah, seems pretty straightforward to me too. Boingo asks, and I haven't seen Boingo in the chat for a while, so hail.
Hi, Boingo.
What do you guys think happened with Bob Saget? Oh, that's a good question. I've heard two things on that. One is pretty funny, which I guess one theory I heard is that he died while jerking off, and I guess he hit his head on the headboard
Yeah.
while doing
Okay.
so. I don't think that's what happened, but the visual of that is
I mean,
kind of
I
It
just
could
don't.
have happened.
I don't see how. I honestly don't. Unless he was doing like an elevator, like an elevator hit version, like the elevator hit with weed version of jerking off, where like he was crouched down for like a long time, stroking it, and then right as he's about to bust, he stood up real fast, you know, toss his load and get a head rush at the same time. He's like, ugh, like
Yeah.
donk. But yeah, no, that's I'm actually not sure what the conspiracy theory about that even is. Is what people think like the vaccine killed him or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Or that, like, I've heard things ranging from like that he was going to. So the QAnon version is that he was going to expose the pedophiles and they whack him,
Oh,
which is
for fuck's sake.
I mean, like, come on, guys. Anytime a celebrity dies, that's like their go-to is that they were going to expose the pedos, and it's played out now.
Yeah, I mean, if
Um,
we had any evidence of that at all, like, well, I mean, we do have evidence of celebrities exposing some things, but I mean, this isn't like a Michael Hastings type of thing, where
well, and like Bob Saget never even like, you know that was never like his deal. He was never like a Corey Feldman, type
yeah.
person.
Well, I mean, that
Um,
doesn't mean he didn't know things, but I mean, he was incredibly close with Norm. I remember hearing
yeah,
several interviews with him where you could hear it in that man's voice. He was devastated, and he didn't even know. He was one of the other people. I didn't even know he was sick. He was
yeah,
he was only a couple people in Norm's life knew about that. So the heartbreak, the death of a. But then again, you got to wonder how close he was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just because Norm didn't tell him, he was just because Norm wasn't that close to him doesn't mean he wasn't that close to for Norm, or the other way around. Norm may have meant the world to him, which it seems like he did. And that sort of death, especially sudden, can take the fucking wind out of your sails, man. And
yeah.
as a 30-year-old man, I know what that's like. I can't even imagine however fucking old Bob Saget was. So I don't even
65.
yeah, I don't even know all of the details of what happened. Like he fell and hit his head, like it's some sort of head trauma, right?
Yeah, well, so this was kind of the other thing I was going to bring up. So the working theory is that he might have like tripped on his shoe or something and fell in his head.
You know how
And
easy that is to do? Like
yeah,
again, the older you get, man, like just you could break your fucking finger
well,
just doing the simplest shit. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
and that's kind of my point. Like we live in a world now, right? Where like because of the internet and just because of pop culture, like everything has to be a conspiracy theory for people, right? Like it's no longer okay that just like random shit happens. There always has to be like some conspiracy
Well,
theory
I have
theory
a
around it.
I have a theory about that, and I'm not even sure it's a theory for sure
Yeah,
of mine, but um, I think in the age of information, it is either like there has to be an answer, and so many blanks have been filled since people have gotten access to the internet. Things that you traditionally would, even in our lifetime, Sam, that people would just be like, it's shit happens. It's life. You know what I mean? And you could go on with it. But when you can go and research ancient fucking history in a way that you couldn't even do in school, on the internet now, it's like, well, holy fuck. There's all this info, and a lot of it is LARPing, I think. People like to pretend that, you know, and they may believe it. I think a lot of them do, but
yeah,
from experience, I know that conspiracy theories they're just fun. A lot of times they're
yeah,
just fun to engage with. You don't have to believe that's the theory in and of itself to appreciate it, to find it engaging, you know, like, and that's why I think the shit like the flat Earth became such a big thing. I don't think most of those people actually believe the Earth is flat. It's just fun to pretend that it might be, you know,
Yeah, no,
for that for
and
them.
yeah, and same thing with like the same thing with the QAnon shit too. Like
Exactly.
like I don't think that the QAnon stuff is real at all, but the stuff but if you've ever gone on like any of the QAnon threads, the stuff reads like a James Bond spy fiction, and so it's just like,
Well, that's the thing is like what you have to more more accurately define what you mean by real, because I think the QAnon shit is real. I believe wholeheartedly that there's people out there manipulating uh, the societal aspect of the internet. Some
oh
sort of
yeah,
some sort of OPSEC maybe for this new world. Like it could be a Trojan horse type thing. People, nerds in a fucking military, technology center or Russia. Who the fuck knows? It's some sort of somebody's
well
doing it. Somebody's pulling these strings. Like it's real. There's someone doing this shit and
well
tying enough.
Majid Nawaz, or the ex-Muslim guy who's on Rogan all the time. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but he's like an ex Muslim radical, and he basically he was like trained initially by like Iran or something to basically to do psyops, and then he defected and basically became de-radicalized. And he went on Rogan and basically, explained that this whole COVID thing basically is basically like a weapons grade psyop is how he
Duh.
uh
Right.
and I mean to us it's duh,
Well,
right?
right. Yeah. And I mean, yeah.
But like it's one thing for us to say. I mean, it's just like that meme I showed you last week where we're like all my friends are going to me and be like, "I'm sorry, buddy. You were right all along."
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I personally am not interested in that sort of gratification. I just want people to like. I don't. I don't expect people to listen to me, take me seriously, but the best I hope for is to. Uh, I don't even know, honestly. I'm not trying to be like, ah, I told you so. I mean, I guess it never hurts when people do that, but
I'm not I'm not so much like a I don't I'm not so much of like an "I told you so" type of person, but like it's not even so much about like "I told you so." I don't want that validation, but like maybe before you call me crazy, just like, at least at least keep an open mind
yeah,
at the
maybe how about going forward before you call anybody crazy? How about you
yeah.
think about this whole interaction? Yeah. Yeah, learn from it.
So
That's the main thing. That's what life is all about. We all fuck up. We all say and do stupid shit, but if you don't learn from it, I have no, people aren't going to respect you. But yeah,
so
again, to put a finer point on the question, I think from excuse me, the limited information that I have, I think it's likely that Bob may have been on some either drinking or drugs or something, and probably pretty depressed. Who knows what else was going on in his life? Um, you know, and probably I could imagine it being entirely an accident. I don't see why people have to attribute it to the vaccines again, other than it just being fun to do so. Like I could see that being a fun
yeah.
angle to run with.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and I mean the other thing people like, and again, I mean, I hate this I hate to bring this up, but the one thing I will give Owen credit for is Owen did say that people are addicted to fear porn.
Yeah.
I mean, ironically, like he's the biggest peddler of fear porn
Well, yeah,
that I
it's this classic magician's trick. Like, look, here it is right in
yeah.
front of your face, and then yeah, let me use it against you. Just like
Um,
the oh man, damn it. I had one of my classic videos that I made of him pop into my head now. I can't remember what it was, where he talks about damn it, I don't remember. Anyway, it's like confirmation bias or something, something like
yeah.
that, where he's explaining it to people as he's using it on them. It was like one
Oh
of my
yeah.
perfect
Oh yeah.
videos.
Yeah. 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 I think I have that somewhere on my Odyssey uh channel actually.
I still have like 500 videos on my phone because I still have the same phone that I was using to make my own videos. I've deleted a bunch of them to make room for shit, but yeah, since my channel's been deleted, I randomly will go through there and get a laugh, like the one where he's like slamming that like La Croix, and he's like, "Jail's probably jail's probably pretty cool, you know. It's a male space."
my my favorite video that I have saved is the one where he's opening the
Oh
where
yeah, I
he's
smashed the beer bottle. Oh, see now, I genuinely that's one of the few times I sincerely think Owen was doing a bit. He was already kind of drunk, and he was frustrated. 'Cause I mean, that's not gonna work, you know, he may be dumb, but he's not that fucking stupid, but the way he looks at that seems like the one time he did a bit that I was like, "Okay, that's fucking funny. That's good shit."
oh and of course Boygo Boygo brings up my favorite one, which I actually have this saved on like a sound pad somewhere as like a sound bite. My dad fucked my godfather.
Oh, is that Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
I
So
can't wait.
yeah.
I hope I live long enough to see another like, a proper Owen breakdown, you know, like, I sincerely hope it doesn't go to, like, some Ruby Ridge type shit, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe he just fades off into obscurity, and if that's the case, then more power to him, but
Well, I mean, like, I'm kind of surprised he hasn't done anything because we've pretty much all moved on from him. You know, like, I think even John Arcade doesn't watch him that much, and so I feel like I feel like Owens the type, and I've kind of noticed this. Like, he does he does he does his most crazy shit when no one's watching him. Is what I've
nowadays, yeah.
yeah. And I think he actually does it because in a weird way he misses us. So
Well, yeah, we brought a bunch of attention, and yeah, I don't know.
and you know I kind of maybe feel like Mersh and maybe even well okay I don't know about Ethan because Ethan is his own thing, but I feel like a lot of these, you know, characters, as much as they pretend to hate, you know, hate the haters, they also love
Well, they
us
need
in a
them.
yeah, in a weird
It's a symbiotic relationship, man. You know,
so
I know several people. I talked to, I'm internet friends with a handful of people that sincerely want Ralph to outlive them, just because, like Ralph and Mersh and these lolcows because like there's such ample sources of of content, like they're
yeah.
and I don't entirely disagree. Like I don't want Mersh destroyed. Are you kidding me? I want Mersh to, you know, I hope you live 1,000 years, Mersh.
No,
That's another Owen quote.
I mean, honestly, in my mind, yeah, I don't want Mersh to like to be destroyed either. And same with Owen. I
Yeah,
think
who are they hurting but other than themselves? You know, they don't
I
have like a cult. They don't have a cult following. Well, they do, but
yeah they well I think the funniest thing would be um if so back when Charlie Sheen was doing like the whole tiger blood thing,
oh god,
which
I miss those days.
yes, I know some people think that thing was a publicity stunt, and it probably was
No,
partially.
I think he was on bath salts, man.
I mean, yeah, yeah, he could have been on bath salts. Who knows? I just remember the funniest part of that was like afterwards when he was like, "Holy shit, what did I just do?" That shit was, like he gained back his self-awareness or
Yeah, that was
whatever.
amazing. It was amazing.
And I feel like that would be even funnier. Like, I know it's probably not going to happen with Ethan Ralph, but like if Ethan just like gained self-awareness and was like, what did I do? That's why I find Worski so entertaining these days. Is I feel like for the most part Worski's kind of done that. So
No, for sure. And I mean, the only way that that's going to happen for the people like Mersh and Ralph is if by some crazy chance they got offered a real job, like a good real job in some sort of media company or something like that, that paid them, you know, $150,000 a year or more than that, you know, $500,000. Who the fuck knows? Producing movies, whatever it may be, just some big media job.
I'm
Uh,
honest. It's funny you bring that up because I'm honestly surprised, like that, like E or one of these like celebrity, like one of those reality TV show networks or whatever hasn't like picked up like Ralph or something like
well,
that.
okay, but my point is that, um, and I don't even know, as I'm saying it, I don't even know that that would work, but they would have to be removed from the situation because all of these people care about is money. They offer themselves up in exchange for money. The humiliation means nothing. You know, as
Right.
long as they're making money, they are winning. That's why, you know, so yeah, it'd have to go the other direction. They would have to lose their audiences entirely and then try to go get real jobs and realize, oh fuck, I can't get a real job because I've spent the last 8, 10, 12, 15 years making an absolute retard of myself for people to throw coins at me, you know? And I've said and done reprehensible fucking things uh, to other people, you know? And cancel culture is not going to get any better from this point forward. And people's, you know, background checks have always been a thing. You know what I mean? So if there's social media accounts linked to your name as you do job interviews and shit into the future, where, you know, they have whole departments dedicated to looking for that shit. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it would take a fall. But again, that's why I don't think they're going anywhere.
No, they're not. And I mean, oddly enough, I think people find this too entertaining to let it go too.
No doubt. Dude, look at like the IP2 streamers, the baked Alaskas. Those dudes rake in cash to just be retarded and get charged with crimes eventually, you know? They're I don't think that they're so stupid that I mean, they're clearly stupid, but the money that they make being a clown outweighs whatever potential lawsuits and fallout. You know what I mean? These people are businessmen in their own right. As gross as that is to
Yeah.
say.
Well, and what's weird is like in the case of Baked Alaska, like at one point Baked had an actual job with
Oh yeah,
with
BuzzFeed.
Breitbart.
Oh, Breitbart.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, well with BuzzFeed and with Breitbart when he was Milo's tour manager, which is where I first knew of him. And so it's weird because like a lot of these people actually had like legit jobs, at one point.
Ooh, speaking of which, have you had a chance to watch the Louis Theroux documentary on America First and Baked Alaska and Nick Fuentes?
No, is that out now?
Yeah, but it's on that fucking stupid BBC paid shit. So I watched somebody on YouTube clipped Ethan Ralph watching it. So there's a few, pig squeals that go on or that went on as I watched it. But Ralph actually did a pretty good job of not commenting a whole lot throughout the course of it. But I watched a clip of that from one of Ralph's streams. I watched the whole documentary rather, but it was still technically a clip of Ralph's show. But
Is
yeah, it's interesting.
is is is, is the documentary like when I ask is the documentary good? I mean, is it worth watching or is it just like one thing where like these people are problematic? They're they're a danger and
I would say it's worth watching because at the end of it, like Louis he tries pretty hard to do that, to do exactly what you're talking about, to be like, you guys are just bad, right? You know you're bad, so why are you so bad? And like that's kind of the whole thing, but it kind of makes Nick it doesn't make Nick look that bad. And it really doesn't. Um it's kind of it's interesting. It's interesting to watch. And I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes. I don't hate the
right.
kid, but I'm not a fan of him, Um he's a kid though. That's
Yeah.
if there's one real criticism I have, it's of any of his political ideology, it's that he's a kid. But anyway, yeah, I say it's worth watching. Baked looks like a fucking retard. Beardson especially looks like just an idiot. And Beardson is one of Ralph's lackeys as well as
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember who was. Um, what's what's hilarious is I forget I forget who it was. Some rando on Twitter tried to compare Ethan Ralph to Andrew Breitbart. And, and then someone else was like, "Are you serious?" It was
See, and that's the thing is that I would have laughed at that and I would have egged that on
yeah,
because that's funny. I don't know if that person meant that sincerely, but the internet is best enjoyed when you pretend that everyone's joking all the time and you just go
yeah,
with it. It's just way more fun that way. Like nobody's being serious ever. Obviously people are, but that just makes it even more fun when when inevitably they're like, I'm not fucking joking, man. You know?
yeah. No. Twitter has become a lot more enjoyable for me again. Just when I post random stuff and people don't even know what I'm posting.
Man,
So
I've been engaging on random posts and shit, and yeah, I s- I sincerely have a good time on Twitter sometimes. Get
yeah,
genuine laughs. But yeah, I got nothing else, man.
neither do I. I'm just like I said. I'm really glad that Mr. Steele is here because the Steel Dozer, as he likes to call himself, is he's everywhere, man.
Oh
That
yeah,
that that steel dozer.
he's our everywhere
So
man.
so um oh yeah, the only thing I hate about Nick is how many grown men are worshiping a child with zero life experience.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that could
And
be. I could agree with that.
it listen, like to me it's a bit like to me it's a bit hilarious because right, some people could say, well, Sam, like in a weird way, you're similar to Nick because you also started when you were, so young. And I mean, to an extent, that's true. But at the same time, like, no one took me seriously when
You're
I
also
was
you're also not trying to. I don't. Never have I seen you advocating to start your own political group.
right.
You know.
Well, heck, I have enough. I have kind of as like an obvious joke with Sam Savages and whatnot, but it's very clearly you know a wink and a nod satire thing. It's not. It's basically just a giant Twitter list is all it is.
Sure.
So, um, yeah, and I mean,
Oh shit.
yeah, I mean, so trying to explain, kind of like Nick Fuentes and some of like the new right kids to Mr. Vickers actually was pretty funny. So kind of how the whole political and internet blood sports thing intersected. So
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, and because I'm genuinely curious, what you intend to have, what conversation, what do you intend to talk to Mr. Vickers about? You want to give the
uh,
audience a preview, or me, maybe?
yeah, I basically want to get to know him and kind of give him a chance to like talk about what he's obviously going to talk on his channel, but also, I mean, he's pretty interesting um, outside of this whole internet
Oh, I love you, Sammy.
drama
Thank you.
thing.
Your goal is to talk to him about him and not bring up all the same shit that everyone brings him onto the shows for, right?
Right, right,
That's that's cool.
because that's boring. Everyone already knows. Everyone already knows the same. Uh,
Well, and your audience
everyone.
your audience might not know all the
I
details, but
mean,
this is not the I don't think this is the place to have him rehash all those details. Yeah, I think that's yeah, good. Bring him on like for a straight up real interview.
yeah, I
Ask
mean,
him pop culture questions and shit that you want to ask.
I think, I think obviously, there we might do like a brief like 2 minute, recap for people who don't, know. But I mean, obviously, there's a ton of stuff out there, and like we got. I don't want to go too much into DMs, obviously, because of.
No, yeah, don't.
But like one thing I will say is that like he's actually very politically, you know, uh,
Smart.
smart, and and like that's not something that gets brought up a lot in the whole circle. But I think that's fascinating. I think it's also kind of interesting that even though he's a dad in his 40s, I think it's really interesting that like that he's a gamer and that he's like really into comic books and whatnot too. Like
He also is big
so,
into firearms.
yes, which well, what one thing I want to ask him in particular is like Ethan Ralph is one thing, but he's got Gavin Newsom as a governor, in California. So, how is that whole thing working out? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I basically just want to get to know the man. So
Cool. I'm excited for that.
so um yeah.
I'll have to come up with a list of questions. Maybe I'll ask Twitter.
I'm I'm down for that. So and I'm sure that I'm sure that Moish and Ralph are going to be like crying into each other's guns over this here soon.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I've got I don't really have anything else.
I got nothing. I got nothing but yawns for the audience.
So
I don't even got nothing to chew on.
all I will say is for the people that have been asking on Twitter, no, I have not seen Vampire Batman yet, but I'm going to tomorrow, so I'll have a
Vampire Batman.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Batman.
The movies he made like 20 years ago that made him popular.
Oh yeah, Twilight.
Yeah.
You know the one thing that is funny about Twilight is the fact that Robert Pattinson just basically shat on those movies even when he was making them.
Oh yeah. I mean, actors do that shit all the time.
Yeah,
you gotta make what they give you.
It's hilarious. But yeah, I'll have the review for the new Batman movie up later this week for you nerds. And other than that, I don't have anything.
Oh,
Gamma.
Odyssey. Hey, Odyssey. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Odyssey has an Android app now.
Oh yes. Oh, and that's the other thing. We've actually been live streaming on Odyssey. So
Very cool.
if you're so inclined, go to the links in the description, and my Odyssey channel is there. And if we ever get taken off YouTube, my live
Find us there, folks.
Is over there. So I only have like 9 subscribers over there, but hey.
You know what? I'm gonna corner the Cumtown clipping market over there because there's like nothing. There's like nothing. There's one Cumtown clipping channel. I'm gonna post all their episodes.
You can make serious Lino or whatever they have over there.
They do cash now too. USD.
Oh yeah, that's right, they do. So
So good night, everybody. Sammy, thank you as always for having me. Chat and current and future listeners, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for joining us and listening. Sammy, have a good night. I'll catch you on the next one.
Alrighty, sir. Thank you for joining me. So, and chat, I'm gonna sign off as well because it's late. Thank you for joining us, and yeah, we'll see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.